My A7 III was very close to being perfect. Now, between using my A7 III and my A7C, I think I have everything I need camera-wise, and I probably won't be purchasing any new cameras anytime soon. Yeah, okay, that's a joke. Ignore that. So a lot of my friends have been asking me about this camera since I bought it, and I'm very happy because today I feel like I've had enough time with it. I've had enough experience with it. We're gonna talk about the Sony A7 IV. Let's get into it. Before we actually get into today's video, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe down below. Liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing, all of that actually does help, and I greatly appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's actually talk about the Sony A7 IV. I didn't want to buy the combo. I didn't want to do what I did with the A7C, which was to purchase the camera with a lens that essentially I'm not going to use. So back here, on the shelf behind me is actually the kit lens to my Sony A7 III. Now, it's the exact same lens that came with the A7 IV, and I didn't use this lens when I bought the A7 III. Like, this lens is in immaculate condition. I didn't want to purchase the combo kit because I already had a lens that I didn't use, and it wasn't worth it for me to spend the extra money just to have the camera. And then on top of that, I like to put warranty on everything. So it was putting me out of a price range that I was comfortable with spending. So I wound up purchasing the camera, just the body, as well as a battery grip. Now, the A7C has been my go-to camera since I purchased it. I bring it everywhere with me. Prior to that, it was the A7 III. The A7 III quickly turned into the photography camera, and the A7C was the behind the scenes and video camera. At the time, I wanted something with an articulating screen because it's a really big deal not being able to see myself when I'm vlogging. There's been countless shoots where I've gotten things out of focus, and it really was just annoying. And that's why I purchased the A7C, and I titled that video why I purchased the A7C over the A7S III as well as the A7 IV. The reasons were the A7S III was too expensive, and for what I wanted it for, it wasn't worth it. I'm more of a hybrid shooter, so for photography and videography, I need something that's all around fantastic with both. And purchasing the A7S III and spending the amount of money on that camera to solely have it for video wasn't worth it for me at the time. So that's why I have the A7C. The A7 IV now, I think it's absolutely perfect. I think it gives me everything that I wanted out of the A7 III, as well as everything I wanted out of the A7C, and a little bit more. So like I just mentioned, I like the A7C because of the articulating screen, and I would use it for video, and I like the A7 III because I would be using it for photography. Now, I could have gone out and I could have gotten an A7R3 or A7R4 or whatever, but I want something fantastic for photography and videography, and those cameras, they do not have articulating screens, as well as they don't shoot 4K 60, they don't shoot 10-bit video, and I'm very impressed with what this camera offers for the price range. Now, when I bought this camera, it was maybe only like a $400 or $500 difference from an A7 III body to a brand new A7 IV body. And it, you know, at the time, it's a no-brainer. I currently don't know the pricings of it. I'm sure it's not too crazy of a price difference, but I'm telling you right now, if you're interested in purchasing an A7 III and you're not in a rush and you don't immediately need the camera, I would say hold off until you have a little bit more money to actually purchase the A7 IV. Now, this is just my personal opinion. If you think otherwise, by all means, that's on you. If anybody else has other opinions, leave them in the comments below. For the slight extra money that you're paying, I highly recommend getting the A7 IV because it comes with a decent amount more if you're getting it brand new. Now, if you already own the A7 III, I personally do not think that it is worth the upgrade. If you already own the A7 III, I think you should stick with that camera and not worry about upgrading, because the differences between the cameras, I feel like, are not enough for what you're going to sell your A7 III for in order to purchase the A7 IV. Or if you're looking to just get another camera, I think that's totally fine. If you're gonna buy another camera and you want both cameras, the A7 III and the A7 IV, and you're gonna have both, I think that's perfectly fine. But if you're trying to upgrade from the A7 III to the A7 IV, I personally do not think it's worth it, because the resale value on those is dropping. It's dropping very fast. They're lowering the prices again, especially around the time that I'm filming this video. The price for the A7 III is dropping so tremendously, pretty much to the point where I really didn't want to sell mine. And the only reason I sold it is because I'm a little tight for cash right now. So I sold it. Well, I think I wound up selling it for $1,200, and which is crazy to think about, because this camera, brand new, after everything, I think I paid maybe $2,500 with the warranty and everything. So that's another $1,200 that I had to invest in upgrading. And it personally, in my opinion, is not worth it. Now, for a fraction of the price, for half of the price to upgrade, if you don't have anything, I absolutely think it's worth it. But if you already have the A7 III, it is a really, really powerful camera. And I don't think selling it to upgrade to the A7 IV is worth it. If you are solely for photography, if you are solely for videography, I do, however, think it might be worth it upgrading to an A7S or an A7R if that's what you're really into. But I think if you have the A7 III, maybe hold off for a little bit for purchasing the A7 IV. There are some cool differences between the cameras. The buttons on this feel absolutely amazing. I'm very, very pleased with it. I also purchased the Sony battery grip. So my A7 III, I just bought a cheap one because I didn't feel like going all out on that camera. I figured if I'm buying this brand new and I'm gonna be having it for a decent amount of years, I wanna go all out. So I got the Sony battery grip, and I'm very pleased with it. The grip on the camera itself is already a lot thicker and bigger, and it's a much bigger feel in your hand, and the battery grip as well is a much thicker and much better feel than the A7 III. Obviously, it also has the articulating screen that the A7 III does not come with, and it is an absolute game changer, not just for videography, but for photography as well. If you're trying to take selfies, if you want to do some really low angle shots, if you want to do some vlogging, you can do vlogging. If you're trying to shoot on the gimbal, you can shoot really low without the gimbal getting in the way of seeing your screen. There are a lot of benefits just to having the articulating screen. You know, it does 4K 60. It is in crop mode, but it's really not a big deal. The quality is actually really good. I tested it out and I'm very pleased with it. It is a lot of storage to manage and a lot of data and processing power on my computer, so I don't use it as often, but I'm just happy to know that if I do need it, it is there and available for me. It's also in 10-bit video. I didn't notice anything too crazy of a difference in 10-bit video, but I haven't really experimented in that realm very much. I haven't really pixel peeped and dived that hard into looking at how my footage looks. I'm more so just film it, get it done, get it out of the way, move on to the next project. I do have to say, I am very pleased with this. Photography wise, the sensor is bigger, so it does have a 33, I believe it's 33 or 32 megapixel sensor, which is much bigger, which means you get more detail in your images or much sharper images. I haven't noticed too crazy of a difference, but I am appreciative that I have it there. That's pretty much it for the differences between the A7 IV and the A7 III. Now the A7C, which is the camera that we are filming on, another reason why I wanted to purchase this camera, you can't put a battery grip on the A7C. You don't know what you're missing out on until you actually get it. So going months without a battery grip on this or vlogging with this camera with the A7C has been totally fine. I've been using this tiny little tripod as like a handle, so that way I can hold it up and I can place it wherever. And you know, it hasn't affected me. But after shooting on this for about 2 months, anytime I go back to shooting on the A7C, I'm automatically just like, damn, I'm so spoiled with the battery grip. It's really not a huge deal because I am still willing to take the A7C out. I do still take it out for shoots. I use it as the vlog camera like I had originally intended when I purchased it. But now if I want to go out and shoot, I primarily take this camera out with me because I have been trying to get my feet wet with it. I have been trying to use it more and really learn how it works. And because I can vlog with this, because it has the articulating screen as well as the battery grip, I feel like I'm much more comfortable doing photography or videography with just this one camera. There actually was a video that I shot where I only had the A7C with me. I went on a trip and I forgot the title of the video. I think it's networking tips from automotive professionals. The video's on my YouTube channel. That video was shot solely on the A7C because that's the only camera I brought with me throughout the weekend. And I brought my big lenses with me. I brought my 70-200, my 24-70. I brought the 16-35 to vlog with. And I gotta say, it really, really was annoying doing photography with this camera because it's designed to be compact and it's designed to be worked for video. It's not really designed for photography. And am I capable of taking fantastic photos with it? Absolutely. Is that my intention or the reason I purchased it? Absolutely not. If I need it, it's there. Preference-wise, I would rather not be doing photography with the A7C, but I do love doing photography with the Sony A7IV. So what are my future plans with this camera? Now, I actually did have an opportunity recently to sell this camera to a buddy of mine because I was a little unsure, and I'm not gonna lie. I was contemplating selling this camera because in comparison to the A7III, I didn't feel like I really needed it. And in comparison to the A7C, I felt like I was kind of overwhelmed and trying to decide which camera to actually bring out with me. I was indecisive because they're both capable of vlogging, but this one feels better for taking photos. And it took a little practice and it took a little of realization and come to the understanding of like, all right, this is the camera that I should be taking with me, even though it's the new one. So I don't want to, like, I didn't want to put too much work on it. I didn't want to mess it up because it's brand new. I was contemplating selling this and getting an A7S III because of some of the other features that I read up about it, that I looked at it, and I was like, maybe I should just sell the A7IV. Maybe I should have saved that extra $1,000 and purchased the A7S III. And then I was like, all right, so the A7S III would have been my video camera, but then now I want a better photography camera because that only has a 12 megapixel sensor. And you know, I've been so focused on the equipment and not really focused on just actually using that equipment. So I pulled myself together and I said, no, you made the right choice. Despite my feelings on what I just said about the A7 III and how it's not worth the upgrade, I do genuinely enjoy this camera and I am very happy that I have this camera. And for the next however many years, I am planning to keep this camera. I purchased the A7 III, I don't want to say a full year after it came out, maybe like 6 or 7 months after it came out. And that was my first full frame camera, which was also kind of I was anxious selling it. I was like, damn, this was my first full frame. I don't want to sell the camera, but you know, at the end of the day, they're all tools and it is what it is. I got rid of the A7 III. I have an A7 IV. This is what I'm going to be shooting on for the next few years. That I'm 2018, if I'm not mistaken, 2019. It was 2019 I picked up the A7 III. So I had it for 3 years exactly prior to selling it. So for 3 years, the A7 III has held me down for every single shoot that I did. I actually did a shutter count on it and it was 44,000, I believe. I also use it primarily for video, or I did use it primarily for video. I did have to repair the record button on it, which, you know, is where the C1 is on the A7 IV, the A7 III. The location is over here. But I did have to repair the record button because anytime I shook the camera like this, it would just start and stop recording and the button wouldn't come back up. And I spent like $150 to repair that. But that's just because I take so many friggin' videos. I've done so many videos with that camera and it's literally been everywhere with me and I'm so grateful for it. I hope that the current user is happy with it. I hope they treat it well. And I'm looking forward for the many years to come with my Sony A7 IV. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I'm actually very happy that I was able to get through that. This was not planned, this was not scripted. I did not have anything prepared for this. I felt ready ready. I felt like I've had the camera long enough in order to actually do this video. It was all off the cuff. If you watch my other videos, I talk about production planning and having your videos ready and having like notes and an outline and stuff. I did not do any of that for this. This was all 100% my review on the Sony A7 IV and my pure, genuine thoughts on it. So if you like this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button, subscribe down below, share, comment, hit the bell notification, do all of that stuff as a nice birthday gift for me, because I would greatly appreciate it, which I don't know exactly when this video is going to be posted, but my birthday is the day that I'm filming this, so technically it's belated. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the support, and I will see you in the next one.